Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of My and I. This is my mother, Catherine Mary Ajizinga Chipembere, and I am Masauko Chipembere Jr. Last time we spoke, Mai had made it to Tanzania, but I was expecting that my father would be there too, but in reality, he had been flown out of Malawi to the United States. How did you find out that your husband had been taken by plane to the United States?
The day before we got to Dar es Salaam, we met a friend of ours, from Kangunga, who was with us at the Blinders Secondary School. And he asked me, he came really excited. Catherine, what are you doing here? And I said, oh, we're going to Dar es Salaam. And they said, oh, Chipembere is in America. And I said, wait a minute. Are you joking like you used to do in Blinders Secondary School? No, I'm not joking. I'll put the news on for you, and you can see the news is going to tell you exactly what I said. And my heart started beating. Is he saying the truth? I hope he's saying the truth.
Okay. So you were hopeful because at least then you would know your husband is alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what happened when you saw the news?
The news said exactly Chipembere is now in the University of Los Angeles, and he wants to finish his PhD.
Okay, so now, as you're hearing this in Tanzania, when was the next time you were in touch with Bombo? When were you in touch with your husband again?
At the bus station, we couldn't go anywhere. We had to sleep there. And so I went to the boss at the bus station to ask him to say, could I call somebody? They said, sure. They helped us to find the Chiume's phone number. Then we called him, and they said, oh, hello. Welcome to Tanzania. Yeah, we can't see you today. We'll see you tomorrow. I said, okay. So we slept on the floor at the station.
The next day comes, you get to Dar es Salaam.
Mm-hmm.
What happens now?
Then in the morning, Honorable Chiume showed up, and Mr. Chisiza. You got Mr. Chisiza with him. And then he also likes to make jokes. Oh, what are you guys doing here? Oh, welcome to Dar es Salaam. Yeah. Okay, good news. Chipembere is in the United States. And I go, oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. Maybe you can tell us more when we get to the house. Oh, yes. We prepared our luggage and they said goodbye. They were very nice at the bus station. They helped us to get breakfast and before the Shumis come. And then we got ready to go with the Shumis to Shumi's house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So one thing we can be sure about is that Tanzania was very much in support of the rebel ministers.
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't like what happened.
Okay, so now, when do you hear from Bombo? Does he call you? Do you call him? How do you hear from him?
No, when Chiume heard that we are at the bus stop, she called Daddy immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were able to hear his voice? Mm-hmm. You were able to speak to him?
No, he called the Daddy, and then the Daddy called us, because he was not aware we were traveling to Dar es Salaam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Definitely, he was not aware what the governor and his wife were doing for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing I think he was aware was the trip to Likoma.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't know if you were alive either?
No.
Bring me back Chipembere, dead or alive, were the doctor's orders to his security forces. After the abortive little Fort Johnston revolution, the police and soldiers were unable to carry out this instruction, and ex-minister Henry Chipembere is enjoying his unspecified studies in the U.S. on a scholarship with fine political impartiality by an American foundation. Harry Franklin, Spectator, London, 1965.
Both of us just thought maybe we'll not meet again.
Okay.
Yeah. It
So
was a very sad situation, and yeah.
So when you finally got on the phone,
Yeah.
there was a lot of emotions, I'd imagine.
First, I didn't believe it. And I said, are you really in Los Angeles? He said, yes. How did you get there? He said, no, I can't tell you now.
Okay.
I'll tell you when you get here. I'm going to arrange for you guys to come here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, when looking back, how do you think he got from that cave to the United States? That's a big journey.
I didn't even want to think about it. And
But today, The people want to know, how did he get from that cave
Okay.
to the United States?
Okay. Make a long story short, he got a flight from Tanzania to America to Los Angeles, and the dad was there with his friends meeting us. I mean, it was the most exciting event that I've never experienced.
Right.
Yeah. But then there was an old student from South Africa who was leaving and he had a house, was renting a house. So he offered it to daddy. So if your family is coming, you can have this house. Just go and talk to the manager. So the manager said, okay. We went to the house he was offered by his colleague. We sat down.
Okay.
Then I asked him, I said, how did you get here?
That's a good question.
There was this layman from Teu. I think all white people were concerned about this.
Okay.
And then he went very far from Cheu to Zomba to talk to the governor. He said to the governor, we're getting tired of this fight between Chipembere and the Kamuzu. Can you let me go and see Chipembere and ask him, what does he want to do now if he could go somewhere?
Okay, so this gentleman who is acting as a go-between between Chipembere and the governor is part of the church. He works with
part
the
of the
church.
church.
Okay, so the church is also involved in whatever's happening.
Exactly. Everybody was involved in this, especially the white people.
Okay, but my question then becomes, why were the white people so concerned about Bombo? They didn't like him before, so why did they like him now?
And this is what I'm saying. This was godly done, really.
See, I have a different opinion. This is my opinion.
What's your opinion?
I believe that Malawi was valuable because tea and tobacco came out of Malawi. When you have a war, right? When Chipembere goes to war, how are you going to get tea and tobacco? You can't.
You can't.
Nothing can happen.
Yeah.
Everything stops. And the British didn't come there to have fun. They came to take tea and tobacco to make money. So as much as I think God was involved because anything could have went wrong and you could have been hurt, I also think that the colonizers were busy being colonizers.
Okay.
They were trying to take care of their economic interests.
Yeah. On the other hand, I think people saw what Chipembere was doing.
Mm-hmm. I think there was some sympathy
apart
too.
from politics.
Mm-hmm.
There were some people who really liked him, my husband.
As a human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think some of those also didn't like Kamuzu so much. They were already beginning to see his personality.
Exactly. Exactly.
Even the whites.
Yeah, they saw what was going on. They're not children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last remaining white minister in the government of Malawi has resigned following a cabinet dispute. He is Colin Cameron, 33 years old, who was Minister of Works. Until last month, Malawi was the British protectorate of Nyasaland. New York Times, August 5th, 1964.
The governor said, okay. He gave him a letter, signed, Green Jones, and then he had to go with the police to help him to make evidence that he was really coming from the governor. Okay? They went to the chief moto, and the chief moto showed him the letter, and then the police coming with this man went to the cave.
Okay, so let's make sure everybody knows what you're saying. You're saying the layman, the go-between from the church, took a letter from the governor all the way to the village.
The cave.
To the cave,
yeah,
okay.
But before they had to meet Chief Moto, and then they meet with the police that were
guarding. The guards outside that you described.
And then all of them went to the cave to talk to Bambo.
How did he feel when this letter came? Seems like that would have been very surprising.
No, so when they went to the cave, the man told him what he did. I went to the governor to ask him to let me come here to see you and ask you, with all this commotion going on, what would you have liked to do if you managed to get out of here?
Okay.
So, luckily, Daddy was the minister for 4 months. Within those 4 months, the early months, he had come here to America. And he came to Los Angeles. He was the Minister of Education and Local Government. He was looking at how local government is done here.
Okay.
So then he was just sitting worried. If should anything happen to me in Malawi and I can't continue with the ministerial job, what can I do? So he went to visit UCLA and he found that it was a good place. Moreover, before this happened, when they were released from jail, the first jail, Kamuzu had a big conference in Kotakota in Malawi. And one of the people who came from UCLA was Professor Richard Nixon.
Oh, okay.
That's how we knew Mr. Nixon.
Oh, okay.
He came, but he was coming specifically not for the conference, but to meet Chipembere.
Oh, interesting. That happened between 1961 and 63.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah.
from UCLA
Before
showed
they
up.
even thought that chaos was going to happen.
Okay, so
Okay.
Daddy had met this man. Why was he interested in Chipembere? He understood the politics? Why?
No, he was interested in the politics to see
okay.
what is going on. This is good, and so on. He was a political science teacher at UCLA.
Okay.
Dr. Richard Nixon.
I remember him. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that's how they met. So then there's two connections. First, Daddy heard about UCLA from Mr. Nixon. Secondly, he went there and appreciated
he
it.
saw it with his own eyes.
So now, finish the story.
Then I think I asked him a question to say, but how could you travel the way you are? You have been in all the airports. You know, they know you. They could have reported it to Kamuzu that Chipembere is here. Somebody. Huh? And so he said, you know, I didn't want to tell you, but I'll tell you. Somebody came with a very good idea. They changed my face to be a bit darker. And they changed my name to be Kazembe Nsukwa.
Kazembe Nsukwa.
And I was a sick person.
Okay.
And I traveled with the police.
So he had a disguise. They disguised him.
Yes.
Okay.
Kazembe Nsukwa. It was
Our
very
father
light
was a
complexion.
light-skinned man.
Yeah.
So
Like his mother.
okay, so they darkened him up and got him out.
Yeah.
And no one recognized him.
No. And so he went to past Rhodesia, London, Los Angeles.
But now, it is clear the Americans, they're going to see through your costume if they want to.
The Americans, seemed to me, they didn't want to be involved in what Kamuzu was doing.
You know, the way the British and the Americans work is if there's two gentlemen, like Democrats and Republicans,
Yes.
it's better to keep two options
Yes.
separated. And then if this one doesn't do a good job, if Kamuzu does a bad job, then we can always bring Chipembere.
Exactly. I think they had that in mind.
Okay. And that's, that's politics.
Yes.
So there's not, we have God here, we have politics here, we're only missing music and sports.
Now on, I don't like politics.
Yeah, I understand.
After 1 year at UCLA, he got his master's degree,
Okay.
and now he is writing a book.
Was the master's in political science? What was the master's?
Yeah,
Okay.
master's in political science.
Okay.
He's writing a book, but meanwhile, you know, a professor called Robert Rodberg, who used to write about East Africa. Robert Rodberg, knowing that now Chipembere is at UCLA, he told him, okay, you may need money. I have a little money in my NGO. I want you to be coming here every holiday to help me to write what I'm doing. Eh? And then I pay you. Okay? So every summer, winter, he left us in Los Angeles. He went to work with Rodberg.
Okay. So how many years were you in the United States from 1965?
I think it was just one or two years. One.
Must have been 2 because you said every summer. So
Yeah.
it must have been more than 1.
Yeah, I think we stayed almost 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden, Rodberg says, you know what? No, you may not have enough time. I don't want you to work for me. I want you to write your memoirs about your ministerial job in Malawi. Let's write a book about you. That's how we started. But then he still got paying him, but he's writing a book.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, one thing I've noticed about Rodberg in studying his work, it seems that Rodberg had his own problems with Kamuzu.
When Dad was working with him, he thought maybe he could be going back to do his research for what he was doing for East Africa. But he got to Malawi, and I don't know how Kamuzu heard about him in the plane. The Kamuzu told the airport, said, I don't want him to get out of the plane.
Once they start writing,
Yeah.
Kamuzu already knows and
Yeah.
says this man is no
Right.
longer welcome in
Kamuzu
Malawi.
had his own CIDs watching Daddy. Even at UCLA, Daddy knows there are some students watching me here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to be clear, that means anybody who was involved with Daddy, like Rotberg, who started writing with him,
Yeah.
was no longer welcome in Malawi.
No, not at all.
Okay. And there was even spies in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, what was it like for you? What were you seeing around you? 1965, United States.
When I came to the United States, the first thing I liked was that the kids were going to school. Nobody thinking about Chipembere like in Malawi.
Okay.
And then I used to take the little ones to go to the park. I found the park,
Okay.
which we don't have in Malawi.
Oh.
And at the park, there was a lady who was teaching women how to take care of children, daycare,
Childhood
child
development.
development. Yeah. So then, first of all, I started with my children at the park. They played in the sandbox, they played on the swings. And then later on, one day I asked the ladies who were taking the children, can you hold my children? I want to go inside and see what that lady is teaching those women. Okay? So I went there and I thought, wait a minute, this is exactly what I want to do. And I've done some of it in England. Okay. So I came back and go to my children. And then each time I came now, I could leave my children here and go to the class here.
And what were they teaching in the class?
Childcare.
Childcare. Okay. Which later became your career.
Yeah, exactly. And it
So-
was already my career. I did both the home economics and the childcare.
Oh, I didn't know you did childcare. In England, you did some childcare too.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We used to visit preschools.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you've always loved children
Yes.
and wanted to
yes.
work with children.
In fact, I can shock you. I started taking care of children 6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I was taking care of my little niece.
Okay.
Every Saturday, the mother went to the market at later Bokosi. He would come and say, Casey, they used to call me Casey. Casey, here's the Chimwemwe. I'm going to the market. And
Okay.
Chimwemwe loved me. There were times when she could go hide under the bed. He doesn't want to go with mommy.
Okay.
No, I want to stay with Casey.
Yeah. Children, all children love her.
My mother's love for children is why she began her organization, WIN, which stands for Women's Initiative Network Malawi. For more than 20 years, my mother, Catherine Mary Ajizinga Chipembere, has used her pension and gathered money from friends in the USA to help children in the villages of Mangochi, where my father once led a revolt against Kamuzu. Talia Village and Moto Village, among others, were brutalized by the Kamuzu Banda regime for supporting my father. The underdevelopment in the Mangochi region of the country is a direct response to the pro-Chipembere stance the people there took after independence and even during the Banda era.
So child care has been in my life, really.
Now you're in the United States, and life in the United States costs a lot of money. So was there a plan? Were you working, or how did Bambo intend to keep the family going?
No, Bambo at UCLA had a full scholarship.
Okay.
Yes. Having known Nixon, things were not difficult. He got also another help from Rodberg.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he had enough help from
Yeah,
friends.
so we
in
had
that
enough help.
What is happening at home to the people you've left behind?
The people that we left behind, I heard some of them were arrested. The ones with him in the bush. The West was, they also went to arrest a man. This was the most shocking to us, me and my husband. The man who sang a song at the age 18 or 20, when Kamuzu came to Mangochi, she was at Shifum Ponda's house.
What years?
This is when Dad was in jail.
So this must
second
be
time.
somewhere between 61
Yeah.
and 63.
Yeah,
Kamuzu came to Mangochi.
Yeah, Kamuzu came to Mangochi, and then Dad is in prison. So he sang a song.
This young man sang a song.
With his group. Ifeti kulira, kulira, Malawi. Ifeti kulira, Malawi. Chipembere watu wangomangidwa ife tikulira Malawi. And the Kamuzu, the people here didn't know that it hurt him the most.
Explain the lyrics to the people who don't speak Chichewa.
So, there's the song says, we are crying. People in Mangwechi, we are crying. Because Chipembere is constantly getting jailed. They want him out. Later on, when the cabinet crisis took place, Kamuzu sent it for him. Now he's 30s to be jailed.
So Kamuzu remembered many years later that this boy sang a song that praised
Chipembere. Put him on
Chipembere.
death row to be killed.
Death row.
Yes.
Wow. So at this point, Kamuzu's anger with Chipembere has gone to levels that don't even make sense.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why his daughter is taking care of the office. That's his daughter.
The lady taking care of the office.
That's my father.
Oh, wow.
Christina Nkwanda is the daughter of the singer. Here she is at Permaculture Paradise in Mchinji, dancing with joy after a week studying with Luwayo Biswick, who's training WIN staff so they can return to Mangochi and start gardens for the children in every WIN school.
He was killed?
No. Luckily, there were 6 of them jailed in Longwood. Then they moved them to Zomba. Really being treated like they're going to be killed. Bakiri Muluzi started his ball rolling, changing the government. He was released.
But that means this man stayed in prison 30 years.
Yeah. It was a very difficult situation.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know that the Kamuzu hated my husband. Because my husband could see even when he was a minister that the Kamuzu is really fighting with him.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
from time to time.
Right.
But he's a persevering person. And he prays. So he comforts himself most of the time.
Sometimes when I look at the situation, though, I think that maybe Bambo may have been a little bit naive to believe that you could give another man, so much power and he would still be a sane person. That all of them gave Kamuzu too much power.
Exactly. But then you see, he should have been happy to be given in this position, okay? Because Daddy would have been the president. But the chief said, you're too young to going to be a president.
Right.
Yeah. But then him being a very godly man, he said, no, we can call Kamuzu to come and do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's still a situation where Kamuzu knows everybody here wanted Chipembere. Chipembere wanted me. He must be looking at Chipembere thinking, is Chipembere crazy? They want him and he's going to give the job to me? There's no way Kamuzu can trust him because he's thinking eventually this guy's going to wake up and take this job. Am I wrong?
Yes, but that was not Daddy's heart.
That was not his heart. Yeah.
He never thought he'd be anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say then maybe the lesson to be learned for Malawi is that we need to listen to young people and we have to trust the young people to take us in the right direction.
I agree with you.
Because right now, 70% of the people in Africa are young people.
Yes.
So, and the old people, they don't know how to use these phones and everything that we're using now. The world has moved very quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm even disappointed with the United States. Donald Trump is old. Biden is old.
But they still hold on to them.
The presidents, the countries that are going to do well are going to have young presidents who are ready for the modern world.
Exactly.
So we're going to leave it right there. We'll be back to have more of this discussion next time. Mai and I would like to say goodbye.
Bye.